So there was this guy in France by the name of Quentin Deranque. He was beaten to death as he defended young women from masked up Antifa scum. Apparently there was a anti-immigration rally that a group of women were holding, and the Antifa decided to show up, and he was volunteering, this guy Quentin, as a security guard at the anti-immigration protest, and unfortunately the Antifa beat him to death. So subsequently to that, right-wing and conservative activists in France have been posting memorial flyers for Quentin Deranque, a man killed by Antifa in Lyon when he volunteered to be security for a women's group. The flyers have been torn down by the leftists, so people put up more. Yeah, and here it is. This is the example once again of the radicals, the leftists, and how they treat anybody who has opposing views to them. I also find it incredibly hypocritical. I saw a post by CNN and a whole bunch of the other mainstream media publications, how they classified him as, once again, here it is, right. Well, they actually said far right in reference to Quentin Deranque, that he was a far right wing activist. The problem is you've continually got this. They put people that are proud of their nation, people that want to conserve their nation, people that want their nation to prosper, as far-right extremists. And they always put them against the far-left extremists. It's ridiculous, because the far-right, if anything, is just considered normal. The far-right is considered normal. Nationalism is considered normal. Everywhere else in the world, any other society, any other culture, the nationalism that they have, the nation's pride that they have towards their nation, it's considered normal. There is no consideration that it's deemed extreme. No, it's just normal. And I think they continually fail to forget that when it comes to the West, because for whatever reason, this white guilt has seeped so far into Western civilization and to the mindset of these liberal socialist types, that any idea of a white person being proud of their nation is automatically seen as the enemy. And that's why this week, for instance, Robert Lowe and Marco Rubio, when he gave his speech to it was a European Security Summit, I mean, social media is blowing up about it. And it is 100% correct. It is okay to be white and to be proud of your nation and to want to hold the values that you have, the things that your nation has done in your heart with pride. And so it carries on. So he was Catholic as well. And yes, he is 100% a hero. And here we go. In Paris, far-left activists tear down memorial posters for Quentin Deranque, the young man beaten to death by Antifa militants in Lyon. He suffered a brain hemorrhage after being jumped. He had volunteered to protect an anti-mass migration women's group. Yeah. And when you've got competing ideologies that are so antithetical to each other in society, when you've got these situations that are starting to rise up in the world between, what they would call the far left and the far right just being normal, rational, nationalistic people that like their nation and want to preserve the culture and heritage of it, you've got this ridiculous notion that somehow you're going to be able to see eye to eye. like somehow the far left and the far right are going to be able to compromise to such an extent that some weird utopian version of the culture is going to be produced out of the continual compromising. The thing is, we're dealing in the West specifically with things that you cannot compromise on. There can be no comparison. I mean, not comparison. There can be no compromise regarding the things that we're dealing with. You cannot say that illegal immigrants should come in to the country and that's 100%, and have other people that say, no, we don't want illegal immigrants to come into the country because they cause chaos. There is no compromise with those two positions, and people just cannot understand it. And this is why the likes of Rupert Lowe and the likes of Marco Rubio, this is why it's working. This is why their speeches are blowing up at the moment. This is why social media is, for the large part, from what I've seen, backing them, because the normal person on the street has had enough. And I think it is a good thing. It is a good thing. Just objectively speaking, it is a good thing. And then you guys probably would have heard about this other one as well. There was this Tumblr Ridge story where that transgender person, I think they killed 9 people, including themselves. I forget the man's name because it was a man. XY chromosomes was a man. And so this little girl, she's currently in hospital, fighting for her life. 12-year-old Maya Gebala was gunned down in Canada recently by a man, exactly, pretending to be a woman during the Tumblr Ridge massacre. And so she's currently in hospital. There was talk that she wouldn't survive, but it seems like she's currently still fighting, but I think there was this video down here. Where is it? So yeah, this is her mom.
But her eyes open. Hey? Hey, baby?
So this is like one of the recent ones, 19 hours ago.
Oh, you're so big. Her eyes open, and she's responding and moving around. And she is moving her hands. But her eye is open. Yeah. Hey, it's easier than typing it. But her eye is open. Okay?
Yeah, so this is the situation, and this is why you can see that there's no compromise. The leftists, the socialists, all that ilk, they have no desire for compromise. They're all about reaching their end goal, reaching their strange utopian multiculturalism melting pot rubbish, no matter what the cost. And unfortunately, these are the repercussions. This is the consequences. They have no desire to compromise, yet they will expect what they classify as the far right. They will expect the far right to compromise. And we've given concession for far too long. We've definitely given concession for far too long here in South Africa, and unfortunately we are suffering the consequences. So here's a graph. This is what's happened in South Africa regarding the white population. So as you can see there, from 1950 we were at 21%. As of 2025 we're now sitting at 7.1%. You know what's interesting is you'll find the trolls, you'll find the people on social media. Unfortunately, a lot of them are black people here in South Africa, and they will look at these stats and they will absolutely love it. They are so happy that the fact that there's a slow but inevitable erasure of white people in South Africa. Sure, it's part of, I guess a lot of white people have left South Africa. But There's also other things. Bar murders, violent rhetoric by politicians. You guys have seen it online. And if you had to take it in my situation, I was born in 1987. So between there and there. So let's say roughly 14-15%. Let's say that the white population was about 14-15%. So if I was born there when it was about 14-15%, up until now, 2025, sitting at 7.1%. So it's very comfortable and safe to say that in the next 30 years, there is going to be no white people left in South Africa. Again, the trolls online will say, oh yes, that is going to be absolutely fantastic. Yay, no white people left in South Africa. Sorry to say it, but look what happens when there are no white people. It's going to revert back to tribalism. It's going to revert back to all the stuff that they would say is getting back to their culture, getting back to their roots, getting back to their ethnicity and stuff like that. The thing is, the large part of South Africa has grown accustomed to Western things, to Western innovation, to Western creativity, to Western building, to Western invention. A large part of that was because of white people. The infrastructure that we have now was created by the apartheid regime. All the infrastructure, all the things that used to work, that now are starting to fail because of lack of maintenance, all of those things were created by the white people. And they're starting to fail. And they have been doing so. This is why we have load shedding. For those that don't know load shedding, it's power cuts. This is why we're starting to experience, and have been off and on for ages, water shortages as well. Because the systems are starting to fail. Because the people in power, they don't have the understanding of these things need to be maintained. And they'll racialize it. They'll make it seem like somehow all these things, because they're failing, or the fact that they are failing, it's because it's deemed as racist. These systems are racist. It's called maintenance. And they refuse to understand it. That's why the victim will always be the best kind of villain. Whenever you attempt to victimize yourself, especially when you're in power, you will be the best type of villain. But I suppose we can also laugh at these things as well.
Call of Duty new skins. So Operator Bundle, Gorlock the Destroyer, includes the Devastator Rifle Blueprint, Mini Gorlock Charm, the Crushing Embrace Finisher. Bro, what is this? Oh my god! Call of Duty new skins.
Alright guys, have a good week. Check you on the next one.